Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be going through all the books that I am hopefully going to be reading in May. So I didn't think that my reading in April had gone very well because I was sick for the first 2 weeks and I wasn't really reading during that time. However, the only two books from my April TBR that I haven't even started yet are two Brandon Sanderson novellas, which are like 100 pages each, if that. So I've actually done a lot better than I thought I had. I am still reading Circe by Madeline Miller, but I'm hoping that I'll finish that before the end of the month or at least early in May. So yeah, pretty happy actually with how my reading has gone. I mean, I didn't read for like 2 weeks because I was sick, but it seems like I've managed to catch up anyway. There are two readathons that I am planning to take part in during May. The first is EUROVISIONATHON, which is hosted by Helen from Helen's Bookhaven. This readathon did actually start mid-April and then it runs up until mid-May, whenever the Eurovision Song Contest is. The second readathon that I am hoping to take part in is the 48-hour BOOKOPLATHON that's hosted by Becca from Becca and the Books, but that's a bit of a different readathon because you can't really plan the books in advance, or you can plan the first couple of books because only 2 of the prompts have been announced so far and then the rest will be revealed during the readathon. The first 2 prompts that have been announced are read a small book that's under 300 pages and read a book that's to do with God. And I actually think that one or both of the Brandon Sanderson novellas from my April TBR would fit both of those prompts, so I can tick them both off with one book, and one very short book, so that's pretty perfect for a readathon. So yeah, those are the 2 readathons that I am hoping to take part in May. If this is the first time that you're watching my TBR game, by the way, I will leave a link to the playlist in the description just in case you wanted to watch all of the episodes from the beginning, but otherwise I'm going to start rambling and let's go with roll number 1. Okay, so here we go with roll number 1, which is a 3, 1, 2, 3, which is romance. So as you will have seen, roll number 1 landed on romance, and for this I'm going to be reading The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, I think is how you pronounce the author's name. I forgot to look it up, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I've heard a lot about this book. I think it's one of those romance books that's really hyped on TikTok at the moment, and I think this is a fake dating trope about a woman who gets invited to her sister's wedding in Spain, and she's told her family that she has an American boyfriend, which is a lie. She doesn't actually have a boyfriend, and she ends up taking her work colleague with her, but she hates her work colleague. So yeah, it's a fake dating, hate to love situation, so it sounds like something that I would enjoy. I have heard very mixed reviews for this. I've heard some people say that they love the love interest, and I've heard some people say that they hate the love interest. I think the love interest name is Aaron Blackford, if I'm remembering it rightly. But yeah, I've also heard a few people say that this is quite long for a romance novel. I think it's nearly 400 pages, but I'm hoping that it'll still be quite quick to read. I can also use this for EuroVisionathon to represent Spain because the book is partly set in Spain and I'm pretty sure that the author is also Spanish. Hopefully I will enjoy it because I haven't had much luck so far with the books that I have been reading for EuroVisionathon. Here we go with roll number 2, which is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is a thriller. So as you will have seen, roll number 3 landed on thriller, and for this I'm going to be reading The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. So this is actually the last book that I have to read from Riley Sager's backlist. I think he does have another book that's coming out this summer. I think this follows a woman who, when she was younger, she was at this summer camp and a group of girls that she was sharing a cabin with went missing, and then I think this is set in the present day where she ends up going back to that summer camp to work as a counsellor. Then I think she has to confront what actually happened back then, and there's some kind of mystery around the girls that went missing. I haven't looked too much into this because it's a thriller and I want to go in not knowing too much so that I'm discovering it as I go, but I have had mixed experiences is with Riley Sager's books so far, because I really enjoyed Home Before Dark and Lock Every Door by him, and then I enjoyed Survive the Night, but I hated Final Girls when I read it last month or the month before. So we will see how I end up feeling about this book. What I do like about Riley Sager's books, though, to be fair, is how they're very, very twisty, and so I'm really hoping that this book is going to have loads of twists that I don't see coming, and I'm hoping it's going to be really fast-paced and that it's going to have a main character that I don't hate, because that's the main problem that I had with Final Girls. Roll number 3 is a 3. 1, 2, 3, which is challenge. And the challenge is scroll through Instagram. Okay, so roll number 3 landed on scroll through Instagram. And for this, what I basically need to do is open up Instagram on my phone and then keep scrolling until I come across a book that I own that I haven't read yet. So basically any book could come up and I'm a little bit scared. Okay, so I've just started the screen record on my phone, and we will see what books come up. Oh, what's this one? What's this one going to be? It's The Spanish Love Deception, which is already on my TBR for this month. That is a really weird coincidence. And then Red, White and Royal Blue, I've already read. Don't own that. Already read that. Okay, so most of these books I have already read, so I'm gonna keep on scrolling. Oh, I actually own The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So I guess I'm going to be reading The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I think this is a sports romance. I know that it's another book that's really, really popular on TikTok, so maybe I could do a TikTok romance reading vlog. Let me know in the comments if that is something that you'd be interested in. But yeah, actually I'm quite glad that I've got another romance on my TBR for next month, because I'm feeling a little bit burnt out from reading fantasy, so I wanted predominantly romances and thrillers on my TBR for May. So cool. So the next book that's going on my TBR is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Okay, so roll number 4 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is thriller. So as you will have seen, roll number 4 landed on thriller again, and for this I'm going to be reading 3 Hours by Rosamund Lupton. All I really know about this book is that it's a thriller about a school shooting, and the whole book I think takes place over 3 hours, so it takes place over that very, very short amount of time. I can remember when this book came out, I saw a few reviews for it, not many, and I think most of the reviews that I saw were on Instagram rather than YouTube, but they were all glowing, the reviews that I did see. I'm pretty sure that I saw quite a few 5-star reviews, and I'm pretty sure I saw a couple of people actually say that this was one of their all-time favourite thrillers, so I'm expecting it to be very atmospheric and very emotional given the topic that it covers. I don't give thrillers 5 stars that often, but this is actually on my 5-star predictions list. There was a video that I made last year where I talked about some books that I'm expecting to give 5 stars, and I think the reason that I put this book on that list is because it sounded very unique, and for me to give a thriller 5 stars, there does have to be something a little bit different about it. So hopefully this does end up becoming a new favourite thriller. And is this going to be the final roll? It is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are all the books that are on my official May TBR. There are also a few NetGalley arcs that I would like to try and get to next month, because one of these is already out and then another also comes out in May. So the book that comes out in May that I have an arc for that I do want to get around to is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I don't know exactly what date this comes out in, but I know it's within the first few weeks of May, and I really enjoyed both Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation, or You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry, so I'm expecting to love this one as well. I think this is a hate to love situation between a literary agent and a book editor, and that's all I really know. I also have an arc for Sundial by Catriona Ward, which came out in March, I think it was, and this is a twisty psychological horror, and to be honest, I don't really know much about the specific plot, but I really enjoyed The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward when I read it last year, and that was one of those books where I think that it's better to not know too much about the plot going into into it because it's very, very twisty, and so I'm expecting that Sundial is going to be quite similar. I have heard that there are quite a lot of trigger warnings for this book, especially for animal abuse, which makes me a little bit nervous because that's not something that I would choose to read about, but I'm hoping that I will be okay with it and that I will enjoy this one overall, or as much as you can enjoy a book like that. But yeah, that does bring me to the end of the video, so thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, let me know in the comments if you've read any of the books that are on my May TBR and what you thought of them. Let me know what you're planning to read next month, and yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and click subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye!